Hello there, students. This is Dr. Lee Zeitz, and it looks like it's a little snowy out there, doesn't it? Well, today you were going to come in and we were going to have some time to work on our projects, basically some free time to make sure you're finishing up your interactive learning tool project in a positive manner. And some students had some questions, so I wanted to send out a video that has, some ideas in it, just kind of a closing, because remember your interactive learning tool is due tonight. So what I'd like to do today is first of all go over the final project and just hit a couple points so we know exactly the things that are needed. Number two, I'd like to make sure you know exactly where to submit it. And number three, I have a couple examples. These are examples that are part of the examples that we provided on the website, and I just want to point out how people connected their materials there. So let's get started. Let's begin. We remember with the final project, the things that we've gone through, the preparation and all that sort of thing. Down here, there are some specifications about what you need to make sure you have. And that includes, you want to make sure that you have the introduction and directions that are included. And that's either, that's typically done as part of the assignment itself, as far as the directions and things. Remember, we're going to be using ICANN statements. Those can be put both on the artifact page and into the actual project if you want to do that. Here it says the project is to it's a combination of at least 3 interactive apps and tools. So remember, you have to have at least 3 of them, and those are 3 multimedia pieces. So that's something that you need to make sure you have addressed. Secondly, you need to make sure everything functions properly and it works right, because you're going to evaluate it on that. You want to make sure that what they're doing actually supports those ICANN statements you were talking about, and that everything looks good. So how do we go about submitting this? Okay, well, if we go over here, you'll notice that right here is the Interactive Learning Tool Assignment Submission Dropbox. And just like everything else, what you're going to do is you're going to go down here, you're going to click where it says Write Submission, and you're going to put a link, listen carefully, you're going to put a link to the artifact page. A link to the artifact page. Please make sure that that page is accessible to everyone. You'll lose points if we have to contact you and ask for permission. Make sure it's accessible to the public. Okay? And then let's take a look at some of the learning tools themselves. Actually, we'll go back here. Please remember that you have your examples are all here, and I would really go through and take a look at them again. Just final. I know you've done all the work. This is just how to put the final touches on it. And so what we'll do is we'll come down here. One of my favorites is the 3 branches of government. Open that up. Notice what it does. It takes you directly to this website, and it's to the artifact page. Here it talks about the learning tool. There's a description. There's a related instructional objectives. There's standards connections. They kind of put this in a 2-column format, which is okay. And so these standards are the standards of InTask. This one did not have the ISTE standards. You need to put in the ISTE standards as well. And then down here at the bottom is a link that goes directly to their website, the thing link. And over here is where they have all those directions. And then each one of these is a project for people to do. In other words, go over here, watch this video. Go over here and check out this page, another video on checks and balances. And go step by step by step. Okay? Another way we can look at this is if we go to, is the whale workshop. Now notice what Mrs. Hall did on this one. She's got the description, she has the intended learners, the subject areas, the related instructional objectives. Talks about how it relates to the instructional objectives. In other words, these are the ICANN statements. How are they addressing them? The standards connections. Also remember, you need to identify at least 3 of the 5 learner-centered teaching characteristics. And you need to identify at least 3 of those and explain how they fit into that. And then down here is where they have the link. Now this one says this. It's really hard to find this. I would suggest you make it something that's really easy to see. Therefore, when I'm correcting these, it's easier for me to find them. In this one, This is a document, a Google document that has a whole number, the sequence of things that students want to do. Down here are those sequence, and these are the resources. You can actually get by with just using this and taking you out to the document like we did with the three branches of government. If you want, you can put these down here as well so people can access them. But let's go over and take a look at this one. Now, this is an interesting one because notice that what it did is instead of going to the page, it went to a place where you're going to take a copy of that page. If you create a template for your students and they all go to that template, a Google Doc template, and they start writing on it, it destroys it. Right over here is what they did. Is typically when you take a look at your Google Doc, it's going to say edit. If you replace edit with copy and you use that address, it'll do this where it'll automatically ask the students to copy. We've talked about this in class, but it might be something you might want to include. So I'm going to make a copy. It's going to open up a Google Doc that is a copy of that template. And then this takes the students through each of those pieces. Now remember that first one, the first resource was a set of YouTube videos. And here's that YouTube video playlist. And the next one had to do with an Edpuzzle to go watch. In other words, these are the different types. This is putting all of those resources into one resource. I hope this has been useful. We've talked about what's required. We've talked about how you're going to be putting a link from that artifact page directly into the submission box. And we've talked about the ways in which you're going to be connecting your actual learning tool to the artifact page. I hope this is useful. Stay warm and don't go out driving if you don't have to because it's really tough out there. The roads are slippery and I hope you take good care of yourself. Have a great day. Bye.